Alright, what's going on, guys? This is my review for my journal entry for October 7th. It's a Monday. This is the news drivers for the week. So this morning we had no news. Tomorrow we don't have any news. Wednesday we do have FOMC minutes, not the actual meeting, but the minutes come out at 2. The big news is CPI and PPI on Thursday and Friday. Gonna be a lot of movement at the end of the week, but that it kind of explains the trading for this morning, and I'll get into that as well. So this is just what we're looking at. In my notes, I have that if there's CPI and PPI later in the week, the better trading is going to be Monday and Tuesday, and FOMC minutes might hold things up on Wednesday morning. We'll see what we get there. But those are my notes for when not to trade and when to trade. And let's get into the charts. So this is the ES on the right, and this is the NASDAQ on the left. I'm looking at the PM session because, as ICT was saying in the morning live stream this morning, I'll show you what it looked like in the morning session. This little line is the PM session start at 1:30, but this is the morning session. This is the first percent fair value gap. It's all just high resistance liquidity runs. It did go to midpoint of the opening range gap, which you'll see here. And it didn't do it within the first 30 minutes, but it was high resistance. So since it wasn't, proving anything off the first percent to fair value gap, which is over here, you can see it shaded. The rules were just wait till 10 o'clock, see what happened, and it still wasn't really presenting anything great. ICT showed, and for my notes I wrote down that, a signature of this is that it went up, didn't come back down and touch it, and then rally. It kind of just went up, got really close to the first percent fair value gap, and then dilly-dallied along up to the opening range gap. This is not something I would like to be in, and I'm glad that I'm learning that. That's been kind of a game changer as far as profitable trades and when not to take one, when to take one, because a couple months ago I would have just been chopped in and out of this. I would have probably took this here down, got stopped out here, and then it would have went, then I would have got annoyed, something like that. And would over traded this morning, and come to the PM session, I would have just been out for the count and saw some nice price action and been pissed off that I did stuff in the morning. So it's all just bottom of the range, bottom of the opening range gap. It's just been trading there all day up until we get to the PM session here, which is at 1:30. And this is when things I noticed started to lighten up and become low resistance. I was still expecting it to go above these because it kept making lower highs. So a lot of liquidity is above this, but we'll get to that probably later in the week or tomorrow. We do have a lot of sell side to take out. And let me put regular trading trading hours back on. So we do have a lot of this to take out first, I guess, probably before going up here and here and up here. So this is what kind of messed me up this morning. Or in the afternoon, I was expecting it around this area when the macro hit, which is represented by this block, is when the macro was going on. I was expecting it to since it took this out, I was expecting it to go take this and then maybe shoot for the sell side. But the logic is showing that these people are still winning before these people. So these people should be taken out first. And I realized that over here, I did take a trade to here. It was all demo, but I did take something around here to here, and but that's not the big move. I would probably got lucky on that one, but this was the actual move, and the logic shows it. So we should be aiming for these people. Even though these guys are winning and there's a lot of liquidity up there, we'll deal with that later. These people have to be taken out first because they've been winning all day. It never came back for them. They might have moved it up here, got taken out here, but shortly after these people were taken out. And I'll show you the logic that I was looking at while it was going down there. So let me go here. So this was the sell side I was just pointing out from the people winning all day that haven't been stopped out. So this is the first position to fair value gap. This is a 5-minute sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. These are the gradients on it: 25%, 50%, 75%. I'll show you the 5-minute where that actually came from. So this is what I'm showing there. I just didn't put a box on it like these, but there's a 5-minute here, trades into that, drops, takes this out. This is kind of a market structure shift. Then this is the fair value gap. 50% look at the bodies, and when we drop it down in a 1 minute, you'll see even more detail of what I noticed as well. It didn't take this out, so I'm looking for this to reject and take this out. This was my initial draw on liquidity. I would have been probably fully out here. I didn't really expect it to have such a massive drop, but now that it did that, I mean, it did go to minor sell side over here from a couple days ago from here. But now that it did that, I'm expecting it to probably continue as far as the next day or so into more of the sell side below. That's what I'm expecting, but we'll see what we get. So that's the framework around this gap. So this is the area that I was looking for a short into here, just because of the higher time frame. It takes precedent over the lower time frames. And in the lower time frame, there was a small little 1 minute buy sell side imbalance, and that's what's highlighted here. And this is an SMT divergence, this high right here. And I'll show you with the ES. So if you look closely, this high on the NASDAQ, if you look on the left, is this high on the ES. The ES was a lot cleaner, to be fair, because it was dropping, and it had taken out these sell side lows before, and it was the weaker one. So this is probably the better trade, ES, but I was watching this for SMT. So since we had that all frameworked out here, this is inside the 5-minute CIVI. We trade up here, trade down a little bit. There was nothing in here that I could really take. The stop would be a little bit too wide for me. I was hoping it would kind of come back, touch this, and then give me something to trade off of, but it didn't. So that's a signature in itself. But while I was waiting for that, this high is higher than this one. It's a stop run. and it trades into this 1 minute here. But if you notice on ES, this high is over here, this candle, and it doesn't get above this. So this is the SMT that I'm showing. Shortly after, look what happens. This is where the trade would have been best. There's a gap here, small one here. You have to allow for the trade at midpoint of this. Look what it does. Bodies stay out of this box, but it goes into this one. Wicks, bam, touches the bottom perfectly, and then drops perfectly into the first presented fair value gap of a couple days ago. And you can probably find this yourself, but that's just for me. And also higher time frame charts. Weekly on the ES, weekly buy side balance, 25% level. This is the whole thing, but yeah, the weekly level of the buy side balance perfectly wicks right through, as well as trades into here, new week opening gap, and this on the Nasdaq made more sense now that I'm reviewing it in hindsight, but because we had this, who've been winning all day, paired with multiple new day opening gaps, the purple ones, and new week opening gaps, which is just an indication that it can go there. It's like a cluster of gaps below a sell side that people are winning all day, mixed with this logic up here, stop run, SMT. There's a small little gap over here. You could have entered in. Stop above here if you wanted to. The ES was probably the safer bet to take, in my opinion, just because I don't have this experience yet to take this, especially with the stop run, or to trust this one really yet, because it can still go up to here, and that's what I was expecting. I was expecting it to go up to here, and then touch that, and then go down for this. And because you do have this gap here, which now is a breakaway gap, I realize, and it means it's going to go lower. So this would have been a better entry. Right here would have been a perfect one, but this would have been the best possible entry, and I saw ICD did take this, and that's why he's the best. So learning from him, but it's mainly what's been helping me is learning when not to trade, because if I haven't been taking notes on that, I would have been done here, and I would have been pissed off, and then this I wouldn't even be looking at the charts for this. But instead, I took his advice. Notice when it was high resistance, didn't trade any of this, waited for this line, PM session 130. Had the wrong bias, which is okay. It's fine. It's going to happen. Took a trade. I did okay, but I think I was lucky. And then I was just watching this, just observing it. And it did go all the way down to here. Once it did go down to here, I did take another trade. It's all demo, but I did take another trade after it took down the minor sell side, because this is another macro. As you can see, this box is showing 250 to 310, so that's when it starts to move in here on lower time frames. I did see it respecting discount as well as this inversion fair value gap on the 1 minute, then all the way up to this gap that hasn't been traded to, and these equal highs on the 1 minute. And there's about like 83.25 to 20,000, 15.25. So 30 points, which is not bad at all from this to this. And I did see this. I should have just, just was watching for buy side over here. But I was spectating this the whole way through up until it hit this, waited for a little retracement. There's equal highs here. And this is a setup that I'm more comfortable with, especially after taking this out and bouncing off of this new day opening gap. Again, like I said, there's the bounces off the new day opening gaps. I was expecting it to stop here. I wasn't expecting it to go all the way down here. But we did have, once I saw it was still weak, I was expecting it to hit this at least. And it did stop there for a little bit, retrace off of that new day opening gap. And then to these highs and to fill in this gap, as well as the new week opening gap, it hit it again. So this would have been my setup that I've been taking a lot. Is after a large range down, I usually don't do well with these or getting in before these happen. I do well on like a small retracement to one of these highs. I was looking over here for one because it was bouncing off a new week opening gap, but ES was still showing that it was a week over here, and this is also another 5 minutes. This is this over here, but yeah, ES was still showing that it was a little weak, and it was in a 5 minute. Another 5 minute SIBI over here once it was coming up. But this, after we took down the sell side, was more confident that we were going to get a retracement to these highs. So this is what I was looking at. Perfect bounce off of that. This is more of like my style, what I kind of like to see. Fast move up, new day opening gap. On the lower time frames, there was some smaller gaps you can get in here. Take it out here, partials or full off or whatever you want. And then as you can see, it still did go back down again, but I would have been probably done here. This is inside the macro, and that's kind of like what I would like to see. So this would be more my style. This one makes sense, but I wouldn't have been able to take that yet. Not enough experience or comfortability with that one. This is the one I'm comfortable with. Take this out already, waiting for a retracement. We're in discount to these highs, and there's a fair value gap above it. Inverted fair value gap, nothing else in here. It's all balanced, or no inefficiency, I mean, and then we take this straight to there. But yeah, that's my review. As you can see, tomorrow we do have nothing else on the news, so I'll probably be tuning in with ICT as well if he's live streaming in the morning, and waiting for those low resistance liquidity runs as always. But if you like the video, and I'll talk to you guys on the next review.